this video that shows the exact moment of collapse. As you can see, the middle part of the building collapse first. The part to the right stands there and wobbles for a few seconds before it too collapses in on itself. This all happened at about 1:30 in the morning on Thursday. Residents said they were jolted awake by fire alarms and the feeling of the ground trembling. About half of the 13-story building's units were destroyed in that collapse. After the dust settled, this was all that was left. Rescue workers are working around the clock to find survivors. According to the New York Times, 35 people have been rescued from the intact part of the building, but as of Monday afternoon, only 2 have been pulled alive from the rubble. Justin Willis was on vacation on the 11th floor of the building when it collapsed.
So we walked into the hallway, right where the elevator would be, and once you turn left, you realize that the apartment next to you is basically gone.
His dad said this.
Things could have been so different by like 15 feet. It was different between us and the next apartment.
As the search for survivors continues, the question is now, how on earth could this happen? Several survivors commented, it seems like something that would happen in a third world country, but not in America. A building collapse here in the US, absent a bomb or an earthquake, is incredibly rare. One expert told Reuters this.
From the videos that I've seen, the building collapsed from the bottom. That is, the bottom failed in some way and then the whole building pancaked down. One should look at what happened, what the condition was of the material at the bottom of the building.
The Times reports 3 years ago, a consultant found alarming evidence of, quote, major structural damage, including cracking and crumbling of concrete in the building's basement. We'll keep you updated on all of this. I'll be back tomorrow with more.
Condo has many wondering if their building will be next. Champlain Tower South was built in 1981, and one study found that it was sinking during the 1990s. There are hundreds of other buildings by the shore in South Florida that are at least that old. We decoded what went wrong and whether something like this could happen again. At surveillance footage from the fall, it appears that the center of the tower, with the pool deck and parts of the garage underneath, came down first. Then the backside followed. A few seconds later, the eastern section gave way. An engineering consultant had warned the condo's board 3 years ago about maintenance issues near the initial area of collapse. He found evidence of major structural damage to the concrete below the pool deck due to failed waterproofing. In the same report, he noted abundant cracking in the parking garage below the 13-story building, and pointed out that many of the previous garage concrete repairs are failing, and new cracks were radiating from the originally repaired cracks. The condo's resident-led board had taken a $12 million loan out to begin addressing these issues when the collapse happened. But many experts say it's unlikely that the slow restoration process was the only reason for the sudden fall. The condo was built right on the shore of Surfside, a small town just north of Miami Beach. I believe the city's salty air and rising sea levels may have sped up erosion in the building's foundation, causing steel to rust and concrete to chip. A 2020 study based on satellite data also found that the complex was sinking during the 1990s, while surrounding properties were stable. Champlain Tower South was due for its 40-year safety recertification this year. That protocol was put in place in Miami-Dade County after a federal office building downtown collapsed in 1974. When Hurricane Andrew hit South Florida in 1992, the state cracked down on local building codes and created a strict set of standards, requiring new constructions to use higher quality materials and be more wind resistant. Florida's building codes have continued evolving since then in the wake of intense storm surges and frequent hurricanes. After Champlain Tower South collapsed, Miami-Dade County launched a 30-day audit to recertify buildings 5 stories or higher that were built at least 40 years ago. But many say that won't be enough to prevent future catastrophes. Over 3/4 of Florida's population currently lives in coastal areas. The state has the most homes in the country that are at risk of chronic flooding by the year 2045, and a good portion of those sit along Miami Beach. This map shows the level of threat to buildings if the sea level rises 4 feet, 5 feet, or 6 feet. Structures on the coast are already experiencing more flooded conditions than ever before. Porous limestone under the ground makes it especially easy for water to filter up. Yet experts say it's too soon to say how much of a role this may have played in what happened at Champlain Tower South. Nearly half of the building's 136 units came down. Of the more than 150 people initially reported missing, about a third were foreign nationals. Many residents were from the Latin American and Jewish communities. Some of the survivors stayed at a hotel nearby in case their loved ones were found alive. Meanwhile, hundreds of emergency rescuers dug through the 30-foot wall of rubble, hoping to bring some good news to grieving families.